it's Moonlight Mason, and today I want to share with you my 3 steps that if you do them, and you don't have to do them all at once, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but there are 3 steps that I guarantee is going to make you an emotionally and mentally happier. What am I talking about? I am talking about shadow work. And I'm not talking about anyone else's shadow work. This work is work that I have been developing and formulating and creating for years. And you know what? There are a lot more steps, but these 3 steps are going to get you way ahead of the curve. So first of all, I like, as you can tell from my other videos, I like to help you by giving you some really clear examples. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to explain shadow work to you in just a little story. Let's say, for instance, you're going to go out with your friends and you have a tendency to drink a little too much. But before you go out with your friends, you tell yourself, okay, you know what? I'm going to be good. I'm not going to be drinking a lot. I want to, study tomorrow, or I need to go to work tomorrow. I want to come home early. I want to go to sleep. You have all of these great ideas in your head as to why you shouldn't be drinking too much. So what happens is you go out with your friends, and before you know what's happening or what's happened, you've already had too many drinks, right? Okay. That part of you is a shadow. So a shadow is something that you do, say, or a way that you think towards other people or towards yourself. A shadow is any of those things that you wish were not part of your personality, that you wish wasn't a part of you, that you have a struggle with, like those 2 voices in your mind. And sometimes they have a struggle, do it, don't do it, do it. And then most of the time, the one that is not supposed to be doing it wins. That is your shadow. And that is what I'm talking about. How do we change those parts of ourselves that we don't like? The parts of ourselves that just come out of nowhere. We don't even know when they're going to come out. You find yourself being angry at someone that's really close to you that you really love, but it's kind of easy to take it out on them. And then later on, you might have a little reflection about it. You might think, oh, that was kind of mean, or that was kind of cruel. That is a shadow. Okay, so this is what we're going to work with. Those parts of you that you are not in agreement with, and that you wish you could not even have them exist as a part of you. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is name them. So let's get back to the example of going out drinking with your friends. Let's pretend we name her. Let's say your name is Sharon, okay? You will name her Drunk Sharon, which is kind of a harsh name, and you will change her name later, okay? Or if you're a guy, you'll name him Drunk Jeff, all right? Name him. So that way you are, by naming that part of you, you're acknowledging that it exists, right? And you're giving it some respect by giving it a name, even though it may not be a really, nice name, or it could be Cruel Sharon. It could be judgmental Sharon. Whatever it is, the first step is to name them. The second step, once you name them, okay, that's just something you can do right now. That just takes a few seconds to name them. The second step is where you are going to be in this second step. It depends on you, how long you're there, but you're going to be there. You can be there, a month, a year. You can be there, a week in the second step, okay? Because the second step is when Drunk Sharon comes out, yeah, or when Cruel Jeff comes out, you're going to start catching them, okay? And catching them just means that you have a thought that says, oh, there she goes, there goes drunk Sharon, or there goes cruel Jeff. It's a thought. So first we've named them, right? Because we're going to use their name a lot. And then the second thing we're going to do is catch them. Now, when you first catch her in her act coming out, when you catch your shadow, that doesn't mean she's going to stop right then and there doing that behavior, okay? No, it just means that you're building an awareness with that part of you. That's all it means, is that you're building an awareness. So all I'm asking for step 2 is that you catch your shadow in the act. And the more you catch your shadow in the act, the more it's bringing the shadow up in center. The more you're bringing that part of you that you want to change in front of you and not behind you, not way behind, somewhere that you don't look, right? So you're shining some light, you're beginning to shine some light on your shadow. That's step 2. All right. Once you feel really comfortable with catching your shadow, the third thing that you need to do is you need to start communicating, opening the lines of communication with cruel Sharon or drunk Jeff, whatever it could be, whatever yours is. We need to open that line of communication. How do you do that? You can always ask a question. This question can be asked out loud. I ask that you always say their name first. Drunk Sharon, I want to talk to you. And at first it's going to sound like, I can hear the way your thoughts are thinking right now if you haven't heard of shadow work before, especially my shadow work. That's why you have to practice catching her. Because you're going to be catching her, and sooner or later, you've got her, and you're going to say, you know what, cruel Sharon, I want to have a talk with you. What can I do to help you? And you're not looking for answers in your head. You are not looking for the answers, because if you start looking for the answer that you'll get is not going to be the answer, right? Because the part of your brain that's analytical, right, and that looks for answers is not the part of the brain that's going to have the answer to how to help a shadow. That's not the part of the brain, okay? So you can always write a question. I recommend that you write the questions out in your right hand. Cruel Sharon, what can I do? How can we work together? Can I help you? You start with one of those things. All I'm asking is that you write it down, but you don't go to step number 3 until you got a hold of step number 2, okay? You write it down, that's all. Now, if you insist on trying to find an answer right then and there, instead of trying to find an answer with your right hand, find the answer by free drawing with your left hand, or trying to write an answer with your left hand. Why? Because the left hand is connected, the left side of your body is connected to the right side of your brain, and that's where the creative side exists, the side that is metaphysical, the side that is deep with universal enlightenment. That's where it exists. It exists in the right side, not in your left side of the brain, right? And the right side of your brain is connected to your left hand. So if you want to ask a question of your shadow, ask with your right hand if you're writing it down, okay? If you insist on answering it, try drawing something or answering it with your left hand which you are not going to try to understand what you just wrote. You just let it go. You ask a question of your shadow. This is the best way to do it. And you just let it go. Does that mean that the shadow is not going to come back up when you least expect it? No. This 3 steps takes a while. It takes a while because the trust between you and your shadow has to get strong. You have to develop that trust. And right now, you guys don't even know each other, right? You just have a little thought that this shadow exists inside of you, but that's it. It's just been a little thought. And what we're going to do is we're going to work together so that we can be one with that shadow. What if you do 1, 2, and 3, and you're doing it, and maybe you're getting some answers, and some friends ask you out, and you are to the point where you go, okay, Floozy Sharon, Floozy Lucy Sharon, you know what? We're going out to the club, and I just want to have 2 drinks tonight. So let's work together. I just want to have 2 drinks. And you make this sort of agreement with your shadow, and you go to the club, and guess what happens? You start drinking. She comes out, right? Let me tell you what to do when this happens, okay? So all of a sudden you're drinking in the club, and that thought about your shadow is going to be stronger than any other time because you have developed a relationship with that thought. So that thought's going to be stronger, but you're continuing to drinking. You smoke a little pot. You do something else. The next thing you know, there's this gorgeous guy. You end up sitting next to him. One thing leads to another. You end up at his house. And who knows what's going on there, if you know what I mean, with a stranger. No condoms around, right? Okay. Then the next morning you wake up either at your house or at a stranger's house or who knows where, and you're like, oh my God, drunk Sharon came out again. You do not get mad at yourself. You do not punish yourself. You do not go into any type of negativity with drunk Sharon. This is what we do not do, okay? Just because you wake up with a hangover doesn't mean you go and you drink some more, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to have that chocolate cake. It doesn't mean that you're going to dig the hole deeper. You're going to be gentle. You're going to be understanding, compassionate, loving. You're going to do whatever you got to do to get yourself well, right? And I mean sobered up. Get all these toxins out of your body, drink your water, go to the gym, whatever it is you need to do. You do it and you start all over again. And trust me, every time you start, you are going to be building that trust with your shadow. Those are my first 3 steps to my shadow work. I invite you that if you do like this video, please share it and like it. And if you're a new subscriber, subscribe and comment. And I have some social media links. I have an Amazon store where everything that I love, the books that I read, and I've been an esthetician for 20 years, so some of my skincare products are there. Not all of them, but I'm building. So if you want to know what I'm putting in my brain, right? And what I'm putting on my skin. And it's just started, so it's got a ways to go. Go to the Amazon on my YouTube. There's a link right there. I have Twitter and I have Facebook. And I just want to thank you so much for being here. I love you, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.